Welcome to Intuitive Seek. My name is Mary Train, and as an intuitive guide, energy healer, and meditation teacher, I aim to bring you a grounded approach to all things energy and intuition. Everything I share is with the hope to help you remember how your unique power of intuition is your own greatest teacher. Hello and welcome. Welcome to your intuitive week, your energy update for the week of April 6th. We are in the first full week of April. And if you have not listened to the energy impressions for the whole month, I definitely encourage you to do that. It will give you more of an overview of the themes for the challenges, the opportunities, the sea of energy that is meeting us this month. And this week is so connected to what came through last week. So, yeah, definitely listen to it if you have not already. And thank you to anyone who reached out to me about last week's episode. I love hearing from you guys. So, never hesitate to reach out. Truly, I don't scroll actually often at all on Instagram, but I do check my messages. So, in the show notes, there's a few ways to connect with me. So always feel like if something is coming up, you feel like you want to share, that's what this podcast is for. We're in it together. So yeah, do not hesitate, especially if something resonates or something else reminds you of something that's happening energetically. I love to hear. And I just finished the meditation and I am so energized by everything that came through. So I wanted to dive into it. Let's get into it for this week ahead. And welcome to anyone who is new, and welcome back to everyone who has already been with us before. Thank you for being here. I love sharing these updates with you because they're for us. So the way that we do it for you and I is I go into a really nice deep meditation with the intention to receive insight, guidance, messages, anything, anything that I can translate through my intuition with as much clarity as possible to help us really connect with what we need to know or remember so that we can move through the week with more intention, but also so that we know what to pay attention to. So, as I share what came through, really use these energy impressions as a way to develop the trust in your own intuition. So, if it resonates with you, if it feels like a message for you in your life, trust that. But also trust if it doesn't feel like a message for you. Trust that you know and trust your intuition. Use these energy updates as a way to develop your intuition. And remember, even if you're not listening on April 6th or this week, it could be the message that you needed for whenever you're listening. You can even use these energy updates as a bit of an oracle kind of deck for yourself. If you're looking for a message, you could kind of scroll through any of my episodes and then stop when it feels right and then see what the theme of that episode was. And there may be a really beautiful message in there because all of these are for ways for you to connect with what you already know. So I'll share what came through in the meditation, and then I will share more about the animal that came through for more inspiration. And then I'll share some writing prompts, some soul questions, ways for you to dive even deeper into the energy of the week ahead. So when I first opened up the meditation, it was the animal of the week. They were already there. Usually they come more towards the middle, but lately this year, so many times the animal shows up right away. And this week, the week of April 6th, the animal that was waiting for us on our path, you and I, because the person in the meditation represents both of us, it was a lion. A beautiful, excited, younger lion, not resting like lions do almost all of the time, but jumping and excited. and moving around. It felt like this week, we're invited to embody the energy of this incredible lion. That we might be invited this week to be courageous, to allow our hearts to be seen, to lead with our hearts and notice what maybe is not feeling connected to your heart anymore. That maybe you've been going through the motions. In this week, you can kind of refocus and be like, wait, is my heart really connected to this? Maybe things have changed. Or realizing, oh, my heart is so connected to this. I need to give this much more attention and commitment. Because the lion in the meditation for us this week, this inspiration of something new opening up, and it's energized and it's active and it's, yeah, that younger, fresh energy of moving through the world delighted. And you don't have to be physically younger to feel like that. There are so many younger people that do not have that energy. And there are a lot of older people that have that energy, that fresh, that new, that opening up to the adventure. That's that energy for this week. And as I'm saying that opening up, I'm reminded of April's energy, that came through for the theme of April, that opening up. We have an opportunity to open, that there is an opening. And again, if you haven't listened to April, have a listen. But yes, this is very specific energy for this week. Embody the youthful, excited, passionate, fiery, heart led, creative, incredible lion. How can you embody that more this week? Lions symbolize courage. So, in a way, for this week, the lion is showing us don't be afraid. It may feel scary, but that's why you need the courage. There's leadership and confidence, like the confidence of this young lion. There's just so much energy, so much fire, but he's grounded and he's moving. So, remembering to stay grounded during all of this excited energy. And I'll share more about the themes of the lion after I share the rest of what came through in the meditation. Because speaking of fire, speaking of all that fire, the next thing that came through, and the lion was with us the whole time. So that's why, yeah, the spotlighted energy of courage and excitement and new, fresh, grounded action and fire. But then literal fire came through too. There was a light blue candle, one of those really beautiful tapered candles in a very, very light blue. And we lit the candle, and the lion was at our side, and the lion was still excited. And as I connected with this imagery, this feels like such a strong symbol of our voice. Light blue is the color that represents the throat chakra. And yes, the roar, right? How can I forget the roar of the lion using our voice? The authenticity of lion energy, that authentic voice coming from the heart, the authentic and also the creative that our voice can express. So, lighting this light blue candle with the lion right there, it feels like our throat, our voice is going to be activated in a new way. And the imagery of us lighting that candle, it really feels like guidance for saying something this week. Words that need to be said. Light up the world with your voice. Trust how that lands for you. Like if it is using your voice with things unsaid, things that you've been waiting to say. If you're using your voice to hype somebody up, to offer generous words, that also helps to activate and light up the world around you. So don't censor your voice this week if it's coming from your heart and your energy, especially if it needs courage to speak. That could be what this lion is reminding us of this week. What do you want to say, but maybe have fear around it for so many different reasons? But what might take extra courage to speak may be exactly what you need to share this week. And then the next thing that came through was a scene of a bunch of people having fun. They were kind of dancing and jumping around, very similar energy to the lion, but the lion was kind of in between us and the group, and we were looking down. We weren't joining them, and we were rolling dice, like we were paying attention to rolling dice. But the feeling was more frustration and impatience. And we kept rolling the dice, and it really felt like this was symbolic of a message around having the opportunity to live in the present and do something fun this week, to like really be a part of the living this week. And if you have the opportunity to do something and have fun and be in the present, like a real love life kind of moment, but instead you are kind of looking for the yes or no beforehand, trying to decide if you should take part, that you should say yes to that invitation, that you should say yes to that opportunity. Trust yourself to know if you want to be a part of whatever exciting happening goes on this week. Like, trust yourself, trust how you're feeling. Because this also really felt like part of the meditation. This part was showing that some of us might have been waiting on the sidelines for a little too long. That some of us might be trying to choose the best possible choice, 100% of the right timing, which means not trusting the timing at all. Looking for the answer, looking for the certainty. And it feels like this week, we could be missing out on life in a big way if we are being preoccupied with making sure we have perfect details of whether it's a good thing or not. When really we need to just be trusting whether it feels good, whether it feels like, yes, let's say yes to that, or no, I don't want to do that. Like really trusting yourself, but not asking 100 questions or asking for 100 signs whether you should or shouldn't. Now, the lion, the candle, the trusting ourselves whether to join or not join, to do or not do, this all feels like the energy of this week is asking us to be brave by trusting our intuition, by choosing courage over hiding, to trust our heart, and to move. Like there is a lot of action in all of the things that came through. And maybe you know exactly what kind of action you need to do to move forward this week to really take advantage of the energy of April, of the opening. But if you're unsure, for some of that action, maybe it could be you need more planning, not a yes or no kind of planning, but a real planning of direction, focus. Maybe you've been too focused on the present and not thinking about the big picture. And then for others, maybe the action this week could be about letting go of all of the logistics and allowing yourself to live in the moment, to be here. That's the adage, right? About the present, that we call it the present because it's a gift. And it's quite literally all we have. So, what is the present moment asking of you? What is the week going to invite you to do or say? What is your heart telling you to do? This week feels so alive and so much energy and movement, and that's where the courage comes in. But if you don't feel like that, if you feel actually kind of frozen or totally not in that space, maybe it's just not for you, not resonating, but also ask yourself, maybe I need to focus on my energy. Maybe I haven't been paying attention to where my energy is. When is the last time I felt fully like feet on the ground, grounded? When is the last time I felt relaxed or calm in your nervous system? The last time your stomach wasn't in knots or your shoulders weren't, stuck to your ears so high because of tension. So maybe the courage this week for some of us is to realize that you have been running on fumes and it's time to come back to yourself, come back to your heart, come back to the joy and the delight of the present moment, like that lion. Because this week is very full. It's promising. This is a promising kind of energy. So remember, stay grounded because all that action, all of this fiery, energized, opening, opportunity energy, if there is nowhere for it to land, it can be more chaos than momentum. And now let's get into more about the lion, the animal of the week. So I have the animals and their energy themes. I have them written out over the years in my notes, and I search the name of the animal if we've had it before, and then I get the themes and the symbolism so that I don't miss anything, so that I have everything there that I've already put together. And when I searched for the lion, because I felt like, wait, we've had the lion maybe not recently, but before. And I found that yes, we did. It was the first week of December last year, 2025. So maybe think back to what was going on the first week of December last year. What was happening? And how do the themes of the lion that I'm about to share, how do they kind of highlight or spotlight or connect to what's going on now and what was going on the first week of December? So for the lion, the energy of the lion represents courage, inner strength, leadership, inherited wisdom, communication, intuitive gifts, creative expression, overcoming difficulties, honor, pride, confidence, and heart and solar plexus healing. So as I shared those themes, where did your mind go? Where were you brought in your life from one of those words, or maybe more? And then the other thing that I found in my notes when I was searching lion is I found this message, this message that I received, wrote down. It didn't just kind of appear, but a message that I received when I was meditating with the lion energy. I have a guide that I connect with, and it's from 2021, early February. So actually, a few months before I even launched this podcast. And I found this message that I received in like my personal meditation from my lion guide. And after I read it, I remembered that time because I was so worried about everything happening in my life and everything not happening. And I couldn't get out of the spiral of worry. I couldn't. And so I meditated and I wanted to connect with the lion energy because that is the guide. That's part of my practice that really helps to anchor and ground me and remind me of my why. And as I was kind of spiraling in this worry, when I meditated, this is what I received. And I thought, oh, and it's really incredible because I don't connect with the spiral of worry that I was in 2021. Like, I don't really get trapped in that often. And it's maybe because of this message, even though they're just words, there's an energy to them too, right? Like there's a vibration. And so it was very healing for me. And that's why I wanted to share it with you because maybe just one of you listening is also caught in kind of that spiral of worry. And this is what may be helpful too. So here's what I received from the lion in 2021 when I was in that spiral of worry. Allow the worry to slide down into the well of love. Allow the reflection of your worry to be the love, care, and passion that you hold. Are you worried about your future? Congratulations. You love yourself enough to want a bright future. Are you worried about your health? Congratulations again. You want to live. Are you worried about your friends and family? Congratulations. You are capable of love. Are you worried that the ones you love will leave? Congratulations once more, because you are loved. So I hope for one of you out there that that was a helpful reframe that the lion offered me in 2021. And just a little bit more about the lion for more additional, insight and guidance. And this comes from, of course, Ted Andrews' Animal Speak, a short excerpt, but this felt very highlighted. So let me share it. So maybe it will resonate with you too. The lion is unusual among members of the cat family in that it will live in groups called prides. If a lion has shown up, you can expect lessons and issues dealing with community and groups to surface. There may be a need to examine your own role in the group. The sun has not always been a masculine symbol. It does give birth to new days, and it nurtures and warms life. Thus, it is not stretching the correlation to see the lion as the assertion of feminine energies to bring forth birth and new power. The lion does not fight for the sake of fighting. It avoids confrontations and will leave the scene of danger if possible. This is a tactic to keep in mind. Lions also hunt primarily by stealth. But don't be afraid to roar if you feel threatened or intruded upon. This technique is something for those to practice developing when pursuing new endeavors and objectives in any area of life. Be stealthy for the greatest success. When a lion has shown up, there will be opportunity to awaken to a new sun. Trust your feminine energies, your creativity, intuition, and imagination. These will add new sunshine to your life. So how does the lion, with everything I shared, how does the lion inspire you this week? What do you feel called to focus on? Where is that courage needing to go? And now let me share more specific questions, even though I did, yes, ask a few questions. But here are the main soul questions, writing prompts, journal prompts. You can answer in a voice note to yourself, but ways for you to dive more into the energy for the week ahead. So the first question, where do you need more courage in your life? And number two, what is the present moment asking of you? And now you have to be in the present to connect with that. So make sure that you know what you need to feel grounded so you can answer that question. And number three, how can you take an action for your heart this week? What is your heart wanting you to do? And a fourth question, what are you afraid to say to yourself or to others? And that brings us to the end of this episode for the week of April 6th. Thank you so much for listening. And as always, I would love to hear if you resonated with any of the energy that I received, that I connected with, that I shared. And yeah, any other thoughts or questions, don't hesitate to send me a message. You can go to the show notes, and all the links you need are there. And oh, the last spot for the key for April was filled, but I will be opening up one more for May. So if you were feeling the pull and didn't reach out, or we haven't connected yet, and May feels like the time, like May is the right time, then fill out the link in the show notes and we can connect and plan for a beautiful May beginning. And if you haven't already, hugely appreciated if you subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And if you feel called to give some support, then you can share this episode with a friend, which is super helpful, or you could leave a review. That would be amazing. People are so reviewed out. So if you don't mind, if you haven't before, but you enjoy this podcast, they only care about 5-star reviews. It's like 0 or 5. So yes, thank you so much. And be extra kind to yourself and others. And I'll talk to you next week.
Hi, Auntie Mary. I just wanted to say something very, very meaningful.